We just had the president, give us the Independence Day speech. Crossfire. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. It's now 7 minutes. Okay, no, 12 minutes past the hour of 8. So we have to ensure that we maximize the time that we have left. Independence Day, and our conversation today, of course, you already would know, has a lot to do with the country, the independence so far, 61 years. How far have we come? What do we need to look at? My guest already is going to be speaking with us from over the phone. He is the former Speaker, Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Honorable Tonye Isenah. And we want to look at not just some of the things that the president mentioned during his speech, but most importantly, as a country, how far have we come, and what do we need to change in our style of governance? What do we need to correct? Many people have pointed towards the way we operate our government as why we are where we are at 61 years after independence. A lot of expectations. So I'll just get over to my guest now, the former Speaker of Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Honorable Tonye Isenah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Good morning, Isenah.
Very fine, thank you, sir. And we're glad that you found out time to join us on the show today.
The pleasure is mine.
Happy Independence Day. Happy New Month.
Happy Independence Day. I'm really happy about the creation of my state Bayelsa and my local government area, local government. I don't know, we can be happy with our life and surviving. And as a country, I don't know if we are actually happy as a people.
A lot. That's
actually we're happy as a people.
That's quite interesting because we know we just had the president, with the Independence Day address, and he said quite a lot of things as well. If we just start off from there, what do you make of Nigeria at 61 and some of the comments by the president on security and the fact that they even have some members of the assembly who are sponsoring secessionist movement? He didn't mention any names though, but then he just said a serving member of the House and a couple of other things that he touched. What do you make of this?
The main thing that bothers me is when the president keeps talking about Nigeria's unity not negotiable. That's what gets to me. And then before I go there, let me answer what you talked about the sponsorship of secessionist agenda and the rest of that. I don't know why the president specifically mentioned about Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday. But then we have had stories about sponsors of Boko Haram and the terrorist groups in the northeast and the rest of them in this country, and that is not taking the front burner. It's disturbing. The activities of Boko Haram, the activities of these bandits, that the National Assembly is rising up to their occasion now by asking Mr. President to ban them terrorist groups. But then we have heard about sponsors of Boko Haram. Recently we had a list from Dubai nation, and we're not talking about that, but we are concerned about son-in-law and Merigo and Nnamdi Kanu. Mr. President is very concerned about those things, those ones. I'm bothered. Well, I can't also support anybody sponsoring any of such things. But then, that brings me to the issue of Mr. President Nigerian unity is not negotiable. Nigeria's unity is negotiable. Or it's not negotiable except things are done the right way. When we don't have equality, equity, fair play, regard for every section of this country, we cannot say it's not negotiable. Just take an example. Last time we were talking about the Petroleum Industry Act. A section of this country where the king and the golden egg building this country, sustaining the economy of this country, the Niger Delta area. We are concerned about why the National Assembly, including presidency, will give the country sum of 3% to oil-bearing communities. That are not none has not been handled. That issue has not been addressed. And Mr. President has sent amendment to that act on what? Geographical spread of appointment to the board. But look at Mr. President's appointment in this country. The Spanish chiefs and the rest of them, people have been talking, it's even becoming a booking record now that people are talking about. We're talking about non-negotiable, but the things you do is fictional. Why can't you, the people of the Niger Delta area are saying that you cannot give us a tax of 3%, and I need 30% to frontier. It's not right. You're not listening to them. You say it's not negotiable.
Honorable sir, Honorable, are you saying that at 61 years after independence and the way the country is at the moment, we can't really point to anything that we can say we should, look at and say, well, we have come far as a country?
It's just that we're existing as a country, God has been faithful that we are alive. If not, at 61, we have not gotten a whole lot of things right in this country. We have not.
So what do we need to change?
We have not been fair to each other in this country. We are talking about Independence Day celebration that we are 61 years in this country.
So what do we need to change then? If all of this, you'd say...
Leadership at this country, leadership needs to be sincere to our people and understand that if we want to be together as a people, for me, let us try to see how we can allow the federating units to function and be productive in their own way. This word about physical federalism, people call physical federalism, true federalism. If for a federal system, let us practice a federal system. If for a federal system, let us practice a federal system. Every state can harness its own resources. That's the only way this country can work. Because we cannot take resources from my place and reach the front end. We need to get them working. But most importantly, let us practice the federal system. Not a unitary system, these guys of the federal system.
Okay.
That's the only way this country can work. Because I'm not going to know that the population is increasing. So the things you were doing and succeeding before now can't succeed again. That's why we are also even going against grading routes. Grading routes were done because population was not, people were not even going to forest and the rest of them. You were passing through. Now people are building houses, occupying places now. The country is getting populated.
Honorable Isenah.
Something that was done in those days should be done differently. Most importantly, we should be sincere to each other. We should have egalitarian country.
Honorable Isenah, so you're saying leadership is the only problem or the major problem we have as a country?
Yes.
And that leadership, would we say it also affects not just the federal government, but then even to state and local government levels?
It trickles down. What do you expect? When every state waits until the end of every month to go to Abuja to take money and come back. It trickles down. What do you expect? When all the GC items in this country is kept in the exclusive list, where states cannot annex. How do you think when as a state legislator I cannot call the NDC, which is supposed to be an interventionist agency in my region, to get? They will say in the National Assembly everything is kept at that point. What do you want to affect? So every state is waiting, sitting and waiting on the moon end, and then what not do we have in the port, and we go there to collect and come back home. I'm not saying that leadership in every state at the selection unit are also done well in all ramifications. No, some are trying. We're battling every state.
And form new bodies, new parties. Do we have a proper system in political parties that would ensure that we produce leaders that would, take the country where it ought to be?
That is another part of issue, because I think that I have one person who believes that the way to good governance will lie in the hands of the electorate. And in this country, I don't think that we have allowed the electorate to express themselves freely.
So, in other words, political parties haven't given the electorate the opportunity to pick their leaders?
Not just political parties. It's like whoever is in charge, will create an opportunity to see how it is up to our own party will win the elections without the people participating. We're talking about rigging of the election, Tonye and the rest of them. And that's why they cry. The country, everybody is crying that we should bring in the electronic transmission of results so that after voting, the results will be transmitted. People will not distort these results halfway. At collation level, people will not disturb them. Let this result be transmitted. Let the electorate have their say. Because what I know is that if the electorate are allowed to choose who is their leader, and after proclaiming your agenda to the electorate and they have voted for you, if you cannot implement your agenda, if you cannot perform, they will only wait for 4 years and then take you out from the ballot. And for me, I think that if I don't do well 4 years, this will take me out. We want to support.
But then for the electorates to also have that voice, it starts from political parties, because you need to have electorates involved in political. So they can that's where you pick who represents the party.
Political parties too have never allowed its members freely to choose who represents them in elections. So whoever is in charge dictates whatever that happens. Governors, president, dictates what happens in political party. That's also another problem. And that's why most times we throw in candidates that are not credible. And so it's now views on the people who want to struggle to rig elections because they're calling candidates that are not credible, they're not popular, competent. So political parties also have their own problems. The members of the party should be allowed to choose who can represent them in elections. Not necessarily waiting on the governor, not necessarily waiting on the president or other leader. So I'm just processing should also be credible. But in the general sense, what I'm saying is that whenever the political party are thrown out, let us go for the election and allow the electorate to choose who is going to be their leader. I'm sure that the things are going to go right in this country. That's the belief I have. We are not being sincere to ourselves, we are not being sincere to each other. And the next is happening, the president even keeps quiet.
Okay. Well, it's still 92.3 Nigeria Info, and guest just former Speaker, Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Honorable Tonye Isenah, and we're looking at Nigeria 61 years after independence. What do we need to change about our governance? He has cited, he says, leadership a major problem, and that's what we need to address. If we can get leadership right, then every other thing would fall into place. The president also had his address, Independence Day address, and touched on a few things. The one important thing that he mentioned that we are going to look at. But before we go on to that, if you're listening and you want to make a contribution, you can join the conversation first on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. You can drop your comments there. And also you can send us a WhatsApp message, 0809 030 6416. Again, 0809 030 6416. You listening, what do you think, or what do you want to see us change in the country as we celebrate 61 years of independence? What do you want to see us change? What do you want to see? What would you change if you have the opportunity? What do you think we should change as a country? You can drop your comments on Facebook or send us a WhatsApp message. We'll be opening the phone lines shortly. But let's get back to our guest, Honorable Isenah, quickly. There's something that's also very interesting that the president touched on, looking at his speech. And that would concern the ban on Twitter that we have. We know that it was in the month of October 20 to be precise, was when we had that shooting that we had at the toll gate, the NSAS movement. And I think after that, the year after, sometime we had the ban on Twitter, because many felt Twitter played a huge role in, the movements that we had that period. And until we had the comments by the president put down, the next thing was a ban that followed. And it's been back and forth, really. But then the president said that if we look at the speech, I'll just take a part of what he said so you can react to it quickly. He said, following the extensive engagements, the issues are being addressed, and I have directed that the suspension be lifted, but only if the conditions are met to allow our citizens continue to use the platform for business and positive engagement. That statement, if I'm looking at it now, it doesn't sound like the ban has been lifted. At the same time, it doesn't sound like the ban continues. So what do you make of it? Many expected that ban should be lifted this October to mark the independence at least.
It's surprising that Mr. President wants to lift a Twitter ban and then with caveats. I say when we are in position, we should understand that it's transient and your time will elapse and you are going to leave. So you don't make laws or you don't make policies that are only beneficial to when you are in office. You are going to leave this office and then what will people say when you have left office? You see, the greatest problem we have in this country is that we are always scared of being criticized. If you are scared of being criticized, then do the right thing. Because people were starved of information. And so these social media things are now bringing information to the people. People are not being informed. That awareness is created. Until you don't expect that people will not react. So when people now react and say things about your government, for me, it's incumbent that you look at the issues you raise and then do those things. They're always scared of people trying to not criticize their government. Now that's what I'm saying. But forgetting about the huge economy, in Twitter. The huge economy in Twitter. People are surviving without looking for white-collar jobs. I'm doing a lot in Twitter. And then you are doing that because you think that the opposition is using it against you. And we all have the conditions before you accept to be a member of, to subscribe to Twitter. The conditions are there before you subscribe. Twitter knows that if you come across, if you go against such conditions, they sanction you. That's what happened to President Trump.